be, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning. Welcome to the channel Grand Colombia. Welcome back to Coffee Time Live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Colombian time. And let's take a quick look, at the weather cam. Yeah, overcast, rainy. Last day or two, there's been a fair amount of rain, and it's been pretty cool. It was actually, I'd say almost cold last night. It was probably in the low 60s. So, an hour or so, you could actually see a little rain in the camera. It stopped raining, but yeah, there's some cold thing that's been going on. It hit Argentina up into Brazil. Brazil had snow. I guess they haven't heard about global warming yet, but you know, they'll get to it. Yeah, I saw an article that said something about the coming ice age. It's like, oh, here we go again, just like the 70s. So, Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. The chat had automatically clicked back to subscribers only, and he pointed it out before I started, sent me an email, so I got that fixed. Rob from Florida, hello, and thank you so much. Saved my life. Mike, good morning. Dennis, good morning, one and all. Shuka from Helsinki. Hello, welcome back. Steve, good morning. Here in Armenia for a few months. Give me a shout and we can meet up. Video, audio, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did the my private channel on my take on vaccines. And of course, YouTube took it down. They said it was medical misinformation, which was really hilarious because all I did was quote the CDC. So, what does that tell you? I explained why I'm not anti-vaccine, which was another thing. It's like, what are they complaining about? Excuse me. But that was an experiment. I actually recorded it live on a channel called Brime, brimelive.com, Brime, like Prime, but Brime. And from there, I sent it out to Twitch, to DLive, to YouTube, to, I don't know, 6 different places I sent it out. And it worked pretty well, but I noticed the quality was kind of crap. I was recording at a good quality, but everything came out kind of weird. So it was an experiment. You know, I figured what better time to do it on my private channel. And a whole bunch of things didn't work because it's a different setup. And yeah, that's the way it goes. Good morning from West Palm Bay. William, hola, good morning. So, it's a pretty busy week. You know, I'm still suffering from the bad news syndrome that I had this week, but I'll let Alejandra tell you herself probably next week. But she had some good news. Just to give you an update, she's the girl is set up or starting a pizza business from scratch, and she started by making in their kitchen and delivering on her bicycle to, you know, different apartment buildings. You know, it wasn't going great guns, but, you know, it was something. She had to do something. And she bought a cart. The cart, with her permission, she wanted to remind me, was sold because at the time she didn't have any place to put it. She was still searching for a place, you know, to keep it in the evening. Well, she ran into this place that half a block from where I used to live, Provenza, between my building and Mokawa on Bolivar, right on the main drag. One of the houses along there has they call them bodegas or locales. On the first floor is just this open room that you'll see, you know, a lot of times there'll be little stores and things set up in these. Well, there's people there that sell something. They own the house, And so she just stopped and said, "Hey, would you mind if I set up here?" So for 200,000 a month, she's got a spot. It's got an overhang, so if it rains, she won't get wet. She's got an electrical hookup, and she can keep her cart in there in the evening when she finishes. So that was huge because she's been looking for 2 months now to find a way to make that work out. So, and then they finished her new cart, and that actually gave her an opportunity to correct a couple things that they had made a mistake on. So now she got her new cart, and it's set up the way she wanted it to be. So she's got the cart, she's got the location, she's ready to go. I think the only thing left that she had to do was to get the stick-on sign for the front of her cart, but that's not going to hold anything up. YouTube are not allowed to have an opinion. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the title was, opinion time, vaccines and masks. So yeah, so I knew it was coming. I wasn't, I honestly wasn't surprised, but it did crack me up because I quoted the CDC and a number of times, took it right from the CDC's website, paraphrased it, and my position is not anti-vax. I happen to not need it because I had COVID, and the whole point of the vax is to help you build up your own antibodies. And if you've had COVID, your body's already shown to be capable of doing that. So, but I think if you fall into the risk areas and of age and certain that personally I think you should have it to protect yourself because it is shown. There's been so many out there now. It's shown to be effective. And so that was the gist of it. I went into some detail. It was 40 minutes long, but why on earth would I probably surprised some people. I got a message that YouTube actually blocked, and the guy accused me of deleting it. Complaining about what my opinion was, but he didn't even know what my opinion was, and he just made some assumptions, and he was pretty nasty about it. And then he said, you don't even want to have a healthy debate, you delete my comments. Well, I didn't delete his comments, but I knew what it was because when a comment gets made, I get an email showing me the comment. And then later, when YouTube decides to delete it, I still know what it was. But the guy was just an idiot. What can be said about that? Closest intersection to her pizza spot. It's real simple. You go to Makawa and turn left. If you're walking north, you go to Makawa and then to the end of that block and turn left. And my building, Provenza, is there. So it's Calle Diaz Norte, E. 14, Bolivar. So it's 10th North, crossing Bolivar Avenue. And she's about halfway down the block. I haven't actually seen it yet. I'll see it this week. But, so that was good news for her. Everything just kind of fell in place. I just continued to get bad news. My debit card still didn't arrive. Robert helped me out I was able to transfer him money, and then he was able to send it to me because my setup that I had with World Remit didn't work with my card actually canceled. And it was canceled because they suspected somebody was trying to use it fraudulently. So all that was good. If I were in the U.S., I would have gotten the card on the 14th. They sent it FedEx. But they sent it here, and I haven't heard anything of it. I think there's been a problem because I get things from the U.S. All the time if I order them in 5 or 6 days total. So, so that's been a problem because there's things that I need to pay with that card. And without having access to that card, I've got some things that aren't getting paid, and that's definitely problematic. So I had some other bad news. So let me go down to it. It's not terrible news, but let me shrink myself here. There we go. Tiny Lauren. So we'll start with my apartment. My lease, I'd already notified them 2 months ago that I was going to renew my lease. And everything was great. They came back and they hit me with a rent increase, which I haven't paid yet because we haven't renewed. But it didn't amount to very much, and it was like 10% of what legally he could do. It was a very small amount, and it was almost laughable. So anyway, so we had that worked out. Then I get a notice message telling me that I guess he got an offer he can't refuse. And the nearest I can tell is about $20,000 over the value or over the going price for this particular apartment. This apartment I've mentioned before, there's five. This is the largest apartment in the building of what, 160 apartments, and there's only five of this size. And I love it because it's, the river and the cool breezes, and I just really love living here, which is why I was going to extend it. But money talks, and I'm in no position to buy it, and I certainly wouldn't overpay for it. Now, I may have misunderstood that, but regardless of that, whether he's actually got a buyer or whether it was an overprice, I may be wrong on some of that. But bottom line is, I've probably got about 2 months to relocate myself. Well, truth is, I could relocate in 3 or 4 days. I just really settled and comfortable here. On the other hand, there's a lot of awesome places. And so I checked with my guy, and he says, are you interested in a house? So I haven't lived in a house since I was in Cuenca. So, at first I'm thinking no, but yeah, you know what? Go ahead and send me the information. So I'm gonna show you some of that. I think with the remit services, you can link directly to a U.S. bank to source, but of course, it's slower than with the cards. I looked for that, couldn't find it. I've got an account with them. I couldn't find it. It was definitely problematic. But yeah, so yeah, I'll get back to the house in a minute. So Robert, I have trouble sending him the money. For some reason, my bank, it just kept timing out, and then I'd have to go back. Then I started getting error messages. So in the meantime, he went ahead and sent it, and it's at the bank. So I said, well, I'm going to go to the bank and pick it up and come back. Well, the bank had just closed. And tomorrow, Monday's a holiday. So I got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday before I can pick it up. I said, well, that was great. So there was that. And anyway, I got back and I tried again, and then I was able to put it through. And we were using what it's called, where you can do the bank to bank. It's a free exchange and it's instant. I've got Capital One, he's got Chase, and it was instant. I forget I keep thinking Stripe, but same company, but it's different name than that. Anyway, so all of that's taken care of. He's got his money, I'll have mine Tuesday. So, ultimately, hopefully, fingers crossed, that works out. But let's get to the house. So, first of all, this house is next door to this building. And to those that know it, I'll show you here. You'll see here the entrance with the white gates. And in the center of those two white gates, the one gate's going in, the other gate's coming out. In the center is a little guardhouse, so they've got, guards that open and close the gates for you. And the rest of it's all sealed in, which it's almost laughable because there's no crime here. So, so all that effort, it's like, okay, but that's cool. So what you'll see here is a row of various restaurants and certain services, and a little bit further down is a supermarket. So it's all right there on that block. And if you were to go in the other direction, that direction, down that way, you'll you'll have the driveway to my building down behind the mall, and then you walk across that and you're at the mall. So within half a block one direction, half a block the other direction, you got the mall, you got the supermarket, all these little restaurants. So it's essentially living in the same place. No, Dennis, you would think so, but there just doesn't really have crime here in the north. There's places without security. There's single houses not far from here in the Centenario barrio that they're just houses. They don't have gates or fences or any of that, and there's no problem. It's just not a crime location. If you think in the U.S. of a place that you go and it's just perfectly awesome with without any crime or hassles or whatever, it would be like here. Just because it's in Colombia doesn't mean it's got crime. And it's a small city, and in particular in the north, I don't know, maybe the criminals think they stand out like a sore thumb going up where all the rich people live, except the rich people don't, it's not really like that. But people think it's like that here. You talk to a local, and there's so many people that I've met that have never been to the north because they just think that they don't belong there. That's for the rich people. Well, keeps crime away. Okay, so let's look at this house. It's a little older style, but it's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms attached to the bedrooms, plus 1 social bathroom on the first floor. So here we go. So you can see where I've got 360. That's my building, and to the right of that was the mall, and then the arrow is pointing to the house. Here's the entrance. Yeah, these are kind of going out of my control. Let me see if I can go back here. Here, let me. Is it gonna let me go back? No, it's not. All right. So anyway, we'll take a look at the house. Would you have a view from the house? Yeah, it's actually back to the same forest and river that I looked down on. Big laundry room. You see the kitchen. It's a little dated, but it's not bad. It's got an oven, so that's pretty cool. The pictures, it's hard to get perspective in these. Like that looks like a little cubby hole, but sometimes you get there and you find out that it's pretty good size. You'll see the trees, the forest in the background of that shot. And there, that's on the second floor. You can see that. I'm going to look at the house Wednesday at 3 p.m. I like that it's got a kind of a carport. Oh, there's her card. I didn't know that was in there. That was an accident. Okay. Oh, wait for her for that. You might want to consider the vax. In any case, the antibodies you got naturally through the vax apparently wane over time. That's true. Delta is wreaking havoc here due to its high transmissibility. That's not really true because, well, it is true that it's more contagious. It's considerably less dangerous. And the COVID in and of itself is actually statistically no worse than the flu. It's not the flu. I know it. I'm not saying that, but statistically, it's no worse than the flu. And no, there's no need for me because I've already been shown to be able to handle it. And even if the antibodies wane, I won't have a problem reproducing them. And Delta is actually less lethal than COVID was. It's more contagious, less lethal. That's why you're seeing hospitalization, deaths, and all of that way down. Likely security in area. Okay, great location. Would you have a view? Yeah, the view is, where is it here? That's basically the same view that I would have. Might want to check the flood history. There isn't any. No, it's not a problem. Does not occur here. Of that, I'm positive. Would be a good point, but no, it's the way the water runs here as often as it runs. I mean, it just yeah, the rivers will get higher, but they're already down in. It's cut down in, and they never get up to the top. It's nothing like in Cuenca where they just constantly, they flood, I don't know, a handful of times a year. It gets really bad there. It's nothing like that here. Okay, so what else? Oh, people are always asking me about here in Armenia, where can they exchange money, like if they have dollars? And there hasn't been a good place because every place was not just a little ripoff, but a huge ripoff. Now I found out about this. I just stumbled across it one day, and then I told somebody who was asking me, and he went there and he said that he got ripped off. But then when he told me what he thought was getting ripped off wasn't getting ripped off. It was 200 pesos per dollar. Western Union takes like 10 times that, plus they charge you a fee. And this place also was basing it on the actual exchange rate. So for the way these things work, it was actually not bad. There's no better alternative that I'm aware of. But it's this right here, and in the mall, the Kalima Mall, if you go down to the basement floor, you can take the escalator down. This is a relatively new kiosk, and you can walk up and they'll exchange it. The rent in the house is $1,400,000, so that works out to about $360. What else do I have? Oh, this made me happy. I make pizzas. I cook. I make a lot of different foods, but once or twice a month I'll make pizzas myself, and I really like my pizzas. But something I haven't made in a long time is a deep dish, or it's not Chicago, it's more Detroit style, if you know the difference. Well, I decided, it's been, I don't know, years, and I just decided to make the puffy dough, light and airy, thick pizza. And so I'm going to show it to you. It was so good. The next day I made another one, and it was 4 meals. I had it for lunch. Then I had 2 pieces for lunch, 2 pieces for dinner. The next day, same thing. Okay, so I'm good for a while, but it's like I was in heaven there for a little bit. Oh my God, I want it again. And when I was at the mall yesterday, running into the closed bank, um, yeah, I can't describe how awesome that was, and the caramelized cheese and the sauce on the edges and crunchy, and oh man, it was good. So I'm at the mall, and they had they had all these kiosks, and there was a ton of people there. But there was this place that does homemade cheese, and I was in a hurry. I wanted to get back and get Robert his money, so I didn't linger. But I really wanted to stick around for that cheese, and they were giving out samples and stuff, and it looked awesome. So let me show you this little cheese kiosk and just my quick walk through the mall. There was some blue cheese, Parmesan cheese, but it's homemade here. They have different cheeses based on goat, cow, or sheep. Man, yeah, here's that's the first floor, and this is the running stairway that goes down to the basement floor where the exchange thing is. It also goes over to the garage, which attaches to my building. So you walk through to the garage and then out the door to where I'm living. So there's that. I think that's all the things for today. So now we're going to go to Q&A. I'm getting a whole bunch of messages. I don't know what the heck's going on. My phone's exploding. So let me see. Been living in El Centro, Armenia, on and off since 2016. Solo, never had a single issue security-wise. Yeah, I mean, if you go to, there's a couple barrios, there's actually 4 barrios in the south. They're dangerous, and you can run into some problems. Now, danger is a relative term. It's nowhere near as dangerous as almost anywhere in Chicago, but that's where, it's where the criminals hang out. It's just you don't go to those 4 barrios, and they're in the south. But you get up around Centro, you might run into a pickpocket or a phone thief once in a while around there. But you get up in the north, and you'll see the girls walk around here in the north with their phone just kind of stuck in the top of their pants, sticking out for the world to see. You don't see anybody, because nothing happens. So there's that. What is the rent at the house? I mentioned that. I pay less than $95 US down here. Shared apartment. Well, here's the thing. I'm not looking for the cheapest place to live. I'm looking for something within my budget, but more about the location, because that's really what, that what I'm after is the location. And, okay, 95. So we're talking a couple $100 for 2 people. Is it more than 2 people? I mean, I can get a room with a bathroom and use of a kitchen here for about $50, $60 all day long in the north. So I mean, but having an entire house or large apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath here, that house with 3 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms and all of this, space, it's gonna cost. So, I mean, it depends on what you want to do. I can't live with other people for a whole bunch of reasons, and I've got to have a lot of space. I've got this studio. Well, that takes up a lot of space in and of itself. So yeah, I get that. And if you're of the sort that don't really mind other people being around, and you really mostly just want a place to crash and a kitchen access and your own personal shower like that, you can find them all day long in the north for $60-$70 a month. And with that, you don't have to pay any utilities, internet, all of that comes with it. Of course, you have to take whatever internet they have, and there's no, some places will have good, some places won't, but that's just how it goes. Sin Hombre asked me a question in the email, wanted me to cover it, and I'll see if I can remember it, or if you're on, remind me, and I'll go over it. Little Caesars. I should sell that pizza recipe to Alejandra. It looks so good. It is good, but here's the issue that she runs into. There is no pizza like that anywhere around here. Nobody I know here has ever seen that style of pizza in Colombia. Maybe in Bogota somewhere, but nobody I know has seen that style. So it means it's very rare, and it certainly is not here in Armenia. So if she were to sell that, people's expectation is a certain way. They would see that and not be willing to pay for the expense of it. It's not a cheap pizza to make. And she has to sell, to be competitive, she has to sell her pizzas, you know, they're single pizzas about like that, but she has to sell them in the 8,000 to 10,000 peso range, or people won't buy them because there's other places. It doesn't matter if hers is a lot better. Now, eventually, you could get to the point where once you have an established client base, you could introduce that, and some of the customers that come often and trust you, at that point, they might try it, and you can build it from there. But just to start making it, it's really problematic because so many people, it's like it's only the price. That house looks good, but you said you got a few months left on your condo. Won't that house get grabbed sooner? Well, I have the okay. I could go because my contract is up soon. I could go at any point because the next month around, I'm paid to the end. So next month around, if you know he's putting me out, I can leave because there's no more contract. So I can leave at any point. But what I have is when he gives me the actual notice that okay, I've sold it, now you're going to have to be out. Then I have a period of time by law where I could still be here. So it doesn't mean I have to be here, but I have that long in worst case situation. So I'm going to go look at the house Wednesday. I'll probably go look at a couple buildings that I like. One building that I would really be interested in going, there's no openings in it. And then in Oreb, there may or may not be something there for me. So I don't know. I'll keep you updated on that. Are there any good barbecue restaurants in Armenia? Depends on what kind of barbecue you're talking about. Here, probably the best is the paradisia, where they basically just get that charcoal flavor. They do have, like, there was one place I got some ribs once that would fall off the bone, but they were barbecue sauced ribs, you know, your typical kind of barbecue sauce flavor. You don't get. I haven't seen where they use smokers or anything like that here. Kind of like in the U.S., it's like depending on what area is what kind of barbecue you're going to get. But if you like, charcoal grilled meat, that's everywhere. That's traditional here. Victor, how you doing? Enjoying being back in Manizales. Also just got my cedula. Congratulations. Yeah, Manizales, awesome place. I've got a friend visiting relatives there right now. I don't recall seeing barbecue places, but there's a lot of burger joints. You were just here for a couple of days, so hush up. Be quiet. Go back. I also don't try to eat barbecue outside of Texas. I've been spoiled. Well, assuming Texas has the best barbecue. Louisiana has amazing barbecue. Kansas City, of course, is great. North Carolina, you gotta love that. You know what? They're all different, but they're all awesome. And it depends. I've had some of those types here. But then, you can also, if you're living here, you can get yourself a smoker. Hell, you can go to Price Mart, you can buy one, or you could go to a local guy and just say, look, here's a photo, make me one of these. you know, and you'd be surprised how, you know, materials might not be cheap, but labor is. So there's that. Um, Let me look in my email here. Bear with me a moment. I want to see if I can find, where is it? I don't know what email he sent it to. Da-da-da. I'm not seeing it. Sin hombre, you got to help me out here. No, I don't know where it is. I think he was, well, I'll try to address Victor. Victor, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, Thank you for the contribution. He was asking me something about if you live there, how do you go about getting appliances and furniture? What's the best way to do that? And again, it depends. I mean, if you feel like you're rich and you got all the money in the world, you just go to the store and buy it. You know, you can buy it Olympica, Price Smart. I mean, there's no shortage of places to buy new appliances and furniture. If you're poor and cheap like me, then you look for used. And I've gotten a lot of stuff through Facebook Marketplace. There's an appliance place here near the bus terminal that I can walk to, and it's where I've got my last refrigerator. Um, they'll have things everywhere from pieces of crap to, there was this one Samsung double wide, practically brand new, amazing, computerized, all kinds of crazy stuff. It was 2 million pesos, so it was well out of my range, but it was actually, you know, quite a deal. So 2 million pesos, we're talking about what, under $600 for this huge stainless Samsung double wide. So steak at Boludo was on point. Yeah, that's your typical what I was talking about, where they'll take, it's basically, it's just meat. Here's the charcoal. Here's the meat. Go at it. You know, and there's lots of that. It's called panadilla, and I personally, I really like that kind. The only thing is, when I was living in New York, every once in a while I go to this Louisiana barbecue place. The famous one in Rochester, New York, is called Dinosaur Barbecue. You guys might have even heard of it because I know they were selling sauces across the country of different kinds. But there's this one, LA something. It was four letters, and it was a Louisiana barbecue, and I think it was a chain, but it wasn't like your typical chain. It was a big, real nice place, and there was no chain feel about it. But that had crazy good barbecue. It was quite amazing. Some of the best I ever had. Of course, I've had Texas barbecue. I've been through Texas a zillion times, and it's right up there. Um, but you know, again, it's like I'm not partisan when it comes to barbecue. It's like, when did you ever have a bad one? Oh, it's like, you know, a good place, regardless of what style, it's gonna be good. And I've just never really sat there going, "Oh man, this North Carolina barbecue. I really wish I was in Texas." No, I don't. You know, I don't see it that way. I'm in North Carolina. I'm going to enjoy it because they have crazy good barbecue. If I'm in Kansas City, I'm going to enjoy it. There's a lot of similarities in them anyway, but the North Carolina, the vinegar based, is personally my favorite. Maybe that's, I like certain German foods, and I'm really partial to the vinegar based style barbecue that you only find in North Carolina. Okay. Oh yeah. So So the used furniture and appliances, you can make a deal on it. You can save a ton of money. You can pay 10% of what the price would be for new, but you have to be careful. He said, do you pay ahead? No, you never really want to pay ahead. I'll pay on delivery, and I always have them include the delivery so I don't have to deal with it. Now, sometimes they want to hit you up. If you're getting a refrigerator and they want to hit you up for 10,000 pesos or 15,000 or what, big deal. I mean, you're talking just a few dollars to not have to deal with it. It's nice to have them, bring it like here, bring it to the building, struggle it into the elevator, bring it up, bring it in the apartment, put it where you want. I mean, it's worth it. But very often you can actually get them to deliver whatever it is for free. So that's, I always try to do that. Now, I do have, for you guys, I've got a whole list of, it's like I need a truck, I need a mover, I need appliances, I need somebody to clean my house, I need somebody to help me with the health insurance, whatever it is. I have people for that are good, honest people. That's why I keep that list. And so I've got a guy who's going to come in handy again. He's actually, I've hired him several times for different things. He's a great mover. Moving my entire place hands off is probably going to be under $100. I got a lot of stuff to move, and he's very careful. So if you get here, you don't know what you're doing, then you're probably going to end up paying more than you have to. If you've got a lot of extra money, then it doesn't really matter. You new. I mean, can't really go wrong. But there's no shortage of things. And when it comes to furniture, some of the better deals you can get, particularly if you want new, is to actually go to one of the local artisans. You can just walk around Central. You'll find somebody, and just take them a photo of a couch or a dining room set or whatever it is you want, and have them make it. Now, here's the thing. There's a weird thing in Colombia. It's not just Colombia, it's a South American thing. That once you pay them, no matter what you agreed to verbally, the moment you've paid them, it's done. The exchange is over. We're finished. And, you say, well, okay, I already paid you, but this isn't exactly what I want. Forget it. There's no point in getting angry about it. It's how it is. So it's on you to make sure that everything is just the way you want it before you pay that. Now, sometimes you'll get a thing like you would in the U.S. Maybe they'll want a percentage down because they got to go buy materials or something. That's legit. I would try to keep it to more like 30%, but that's all negotiation. But don't feel like, oh, geez, that's cheap. I'm the big man here. Let me just go ahead and pay you ahead of time. I'll get better service. It doesn't work like that. As a matter of fact, there are some guys, because of how it is culturally, that's just a license to cut corners. Where that same guy, if you pay him at the end, that you get it, you're happy, you're satisfied, he's going to stand there proud of his work and have given you everything you asked for, sometimes even more. Like the guy who did the seats in my car. He put that emblem on the seat back, the Grand Columbia emblem on the seat back, and didn't even charge me for it. And then I paid him. I did have to give him a partial down because he had a fair amount of materials to buy. Plus he drove over. He had an employee with him to take the seats out, take it back. So, fair is fair, but I wasn't about to pay him for the whole thing. And he would have accepted it, but I don't think we would have the same relationship as we have now. It's you're in control of some of that. What do I see? Chris, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the contribution. Did the chat stop working? Um, what's going on here? I'm not seeing any new chats. You never know. You never know with YouTube what's functioning or not. It was funny. I was watching a guy. He's a 8-year long professional live stream geek. I mean, he knows everything there is to know about it. He puts out these tutorial video chat working great. It was like it was stuck. He he puts these tutorial videos out. They're very good, and he had a live stream, and I clicked on it, and I had no intention of actually watching it, but it was funny because here's this guy that has made his career, and he does really well. He's actually very well known. He's made his career off of his expertise, particularly with live streams. And his live stream, this wasn't functioning, that wasn't functioning. His mic, he got a double, he got an echo in his mic. It's like one thing after another. And the mic was on his end because he got a little flustered. But the other things are actually on the YouTube end. And it's like, man, I feel your pain. It's so hard to do a live stream from beginning to end without something going crazy. It's, it would be easier if you had if you had a production assistant that actually controlled everything, and I could just sit here and talk, and they could keep an eye on things, and if something goes wrong, they could open up certain windows and not interfere with a live stream. Even just me trying to look for that email, it's like, we got a minute and a half of just dead air because I'm trying to find it. So if you got a production assistant or something along those lines, then it's a lot better. But yeah, I could feel his pain. So we have any other questions? What time is it? No, been at it about 45 minutes or so. Victor, did you go right to Manizales when you arrived? Just kind of curious. Well, yes. Yeah, I bet it was good to be home. He's got a place there and doesn't spend much time. Spends a fair amount of time in the U.S. And I don't know if I would go crazy if it were me. I would go crazy. Hello, my friend. This is Javier from Switzerland. Have you seen my channel? I don't think I did, but I never got an email from you. I think you were trying to do it online, but I'm busy and I can't keep track of it. And then when everything shut down, I don't see it, not a sight, out of mind. If you send me an email, I will definitely take a look at it. No, really appreciate what you do. Thank you, Boyd. I appreciate you. See, now there you go. And I'm not going to remember that. Just send an email. It's easy. Is the carport a big selling point? Well, I've got a car, so yeah, that would be nice. I'd be able to wash the car. Having a parking garage like that, you don't really have access to, a water spigot, and it's a little problematic. It would be nice to be able to, go out on a nice warm Saturday afternoon, wash the car. It's like, feels like home, right? I just thought that would be kind of cool to be able to have you know, if you got a car. If you don't have a car, then you throw a, barbecue grill out there or a smoker or something like that. Are any English language movies shown in theaters? Rarely. Rarely. I don't go to the theaters. They love to have their lines here, and I hate lines. Plus, I can watch from my living room on my relatively new 55-inch Chinese TV. Um, Pretty much anything. I mean, this last week I watched two movies, and both of them are in the theater. I watched the Suicide Squad movie, the new one, stupid, um, dumb as rocks movie. Sorry I wasted my time, but I watched that in English on my TV, crystal clear. It wasn't a camera thing. I watched that on Stremio. And then what was the other movie? The other one was actually pretty good. Oh, Jungle Cruise. I thought that was going to be the really stupid one. And that's just one of those Saturday matinee kind of funny action, tongue-in-cheek movies, and I actually really enjoyed that movie. So yeah, and you can invite friends over, and you can make up some popcorn and sit there and watch it, and you got no lines. And but they do have sometimes subtitled English movies here. Now, in Pereira, there's an actual schedule where one of the theaters will show at certain times or days or whatever. There's just not enough call for it here. There's not enough of us English speakers. There's just a handful, a few hundred. So it wouldn't make sense for them to do it. But saying that, occasionally they'll have one, some big movie that comes out. But it's not a scheduled thing. But for me, it's no big deal. I really like kick back in the armchair, being comfortable and making some popcorn. Did PriceSmart did not stop PriceSmart trying to close on a farm? I'm I'm not following that. Oh, did not stop at PriceSmart. You're trying to close on a farm. Gotcha, gotcha. Sorry. I'm happy to stumble on your channel through Marshall Powell interview. I'm currently in Medellin. Many Colombian women are so flirty, man. I love it. Yeah, it's a topic I don't really talk about very much here. Um, but yeah, Colombian women are pretty awesome. I'm not a big fan of the way it is in Medellin because it's kind of a caricature. It's not how people, and this is a broad stereotypical generalization, but the people that you run into in Medellin are really not representative of the way you're going to see people in the rest of Colombia. They're a little more commercial minded. It's more apt for girls to see, you know, a gringo as a dollar sign versus seeing him as a human being. And again, it's not everybody, it's not everything, and it's a great place to go and visit. Personally, I wouldn't want to live there, and I wouldn't see it as a place if I wanted any kind of actual relationship, because you'd always have to wonder where you get to a place like here or Manizales or whatever, and it doesn't really work that way. Um, I don't know. It's just more comfortable for me here, but Medellin's a pretty awesome place. Yeah, I saw Marshall's recent video, and I could kind of understand where he's coming from. He's doing a lot of volunteer work, and um, he's working with an international organization helping Venezuelans, and he's over near the border, which is actually pretty dangerous. He's very close to an extremely dangerous area. He's not in it, but he's very close to it. And I can understand that because you get kind of caught up in it. When I was in Ecuador, in Cuenca, I got caught up in a lot of it. I ended up helping, being an officer of a nonprofit that helped street kids, and I personally helped a whole bunch of Venezuelans. And you guys, some of you guys, helped a lot. I was able to find them work because I had a lot of friends with businesses, and you get caught up in it, but you also, you kind of get burnout, and it can get discouraging. One of the things I'll say is a bit of a generalization, but I had problems finding homes, jobs for Venezuelans in Cuenca because, well, one was a very good friend of mine that owned a place that was a restaurant and a club and like a Airbnb and all in one place. It was a big complex, and he had a lot of things going on there. He had billiards, all kinds of stuff, and he didn't want to hire one of the Venezuelans because he'd hired another one. Well, he'd actually hired two previously, that when they would begin work, they just wouldn't work. They would sit around and they would just watch other people work. And he said it was because they came from a place that was socialized, and it's like everybody owes me kind of attitude. And you'll hear a lot of people here in Colombia, local people here in Colombia, complain about a similar thing. They just have that attitude that I owe it to them, and so then it builds up resentment. But again, like everything, everybody's not like that. And I ran into some very nice people, and they're very hardworking. And to this day, they've done very, very well for themselves by working real hard. And what we were able to do, you guys and me, was to give them a head start, get a leg up on what's going on. One was a medical doctor, and she now actually has her own clinic in Cuenca. So it's pretty awesome. But when I met her, she's wearing beach clothes in a place that was freezing cold. She had no cell phone. She was trying to sell gelatin on the streets to find money to eat. It was a disaster. So I understand what Marshall's doing and how he got caught up, and I hope he doesn't get burned out. And I got really, it really started to bother me, and I just kind of got away from it. I'll have my family ship a few photo equipment cases after I arrive. Do you have any recommendation of shippers? Um, uh, it depends on what it is they're shipping and how it is. I mean, DHL is pretty reliable. In the U.S., I hate them, but here it's kind of the shipper of choice. But there's others. Send me an email on that. What do we have? What would you say the age gap might be if a guy speaks Spanish? The age gap might be if the guy speaks Spanish. I just donated some money to Marshall's fund. He's a wise soul for being so young. Well, he's 30 years old. He looks younger than he is. I'm not sure what you mean by the age gap. But I can tell you this about Marshall. What he's doing, it's sincere. He's not chasing money. He's using that money. Actually, a fair amount of money he gets, he gives away. He's doing what I was doing in Ecuador, and he's very sincere about what he's doing. That was another thing in Ecuador. I ended up putting myself in a bind because, I mean, you get involved in this stuff and your heart breaks, and you end up putting yourself in trouble because you're just giving everything, to help other people. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it can be pretty disruptive. So I'm not sure what you mean by the age gap, but I will tell you that he's very sincere about what he's doing. He's not out here trying to get rich off of you guys. But the people that are donating to him, he's actually using that money to be able to do what he's doing. I got a warning from local women the other day to be careful of Venezuelan ladies. Um, yeah, I get I get warnings from local girls, ladies, women, however the appropriate way, all the time about different things. It's like they're very suspect, and they're very they want to watch out for you, but most of it's really kind of unnecessary. but careful in terms of love life, etc. It's great to help refugees. Yeah, as far as meeting a girlfriend, you have to be careful everywhere. I ran into, there's a fair share of gold diggers in the U.S. too. You can run into them here, less so in Armenia than other places, but here, you can run into it also. You just have to understand the culture, understand the people that you're dealing with, because if you don't do that, it's going to create a lot of misunderstandings. That's why I did that long dating video. That's an important thing. Maybe we'll do a live stream on that topic and restricted adult only or something. Not that we're going to talk about anything nasty, because I won't do that, but I just don't want it general public. For you personally, do you prefer no expats around you in Armenia? They tend to rant and complain about host countries. Yeah, it was really bad in Cuenca, and I actively avoided going anywhere that had gringos. Being anywhere that had them, I just actively avoided it. If Here there's so few, it's not an issue. I wouldn't like. Here's the thing: half of the people that you meet are going to be nice people, and you'd welcome them as neighbors. The other half are just complete jerks. And I don't want to get off on a rant, but I could tell you a couple stories of some people this year that I wish I had never met. One kind of redeemed himself, but the other one, it's just problematic. And so, that's the thing. People here are more in tune to doing the right thing because there's social pressure. And people in the United States have kind of lost that. And so you'll have people go places and act the fool. And it can be very uncomfortable. It can be very inappropriate. So, yeah, there is that. And a lot of people that will rant and complain. And, it's like, I got screwed on such and such. And, without understanding. So there is that. The biggest thing I could tell you if you come here, it's a different culture. Chill, wait to get used to it before you decide that something went wrong. Because almost every time you get upset because you think somebody did something wrong, you find out later that wasn't really the case and you were the one that was being the jerk. So age gap with women. Again, my dating video, I talked about this at length. I'm not going to go into detail, but in particular, what used to be in Colombia, where women would look for men that were considerably older. It was a cultural thing. There's a whole history behind it. It's not just that they had money, because that's how people from the U.S. kind of think. Well, they must do it because they're after money. So here's a younger girl. It's with an older guy. She's got to be after the money. It's not necessarily the case, but what I have discovered is that from 20 years ago to now, where the vast majority were like that, now it's about 50-50. So you're going to run into half of them that if they're 20 years old, they want to be with somebody maybe no more than 23 or 24. And if they're 30, they don't want to be with anybody that's older than maybe 35 or so, something like that. And the other half, they could be 20 years old and want to be with somebody that's 50. And there's actual reasons for that. And money could come in there, but it would be far down on the list or not at all. There's other reasons for it. It has more to do with treatment. Can you explain how to buy things in Colombia? Appliances, glasses, furniture. Actually, you just tuned in, and I did that. So I'm not going to make these guys go through it again. But what you talked about, I talked about at some length, probably half an hour ago. So go back, replay the video. It's about 15 minutes in, maybe. I don't know. and I didn't forget entirely. I just didn't have it in front of me, so I was kind of winging it. But I covered that: furniture, appliances, used, new, all of that. When to pay, covered all that. And if you watch it and don't get out of it, feel free to send me an email, and I'll clarify anything. For shipping to Colombia, Colombian shipping company called Serbian Trega, super reliable. That's very true. They're not all over the U.S. here in Miami. Yeah, they're not all over the U.S., but they'll have subcontractors. So, yeah, it's very true. They're very good, very reliable, and they're more for larger packages. Sonombre, I'll watch it again. Thanks. Yep, I remembered. I just I couldn't find the email and I couldn't hold everybody up, so I took it from memory. But I covered all the bases except the glasses. The glasses is real simple. You go to a place that sells glasses. You get an appointment with a doctor. You get your eye exam. He has a prescription. You choose your glasses. No different than the U.S. You get your glasses. You pay for them. Okay, it's been an hour, so we're going to wrap it up here. Looks like the questions fizzled. Appreciate all the questions, and I appreciate you guys coming to visit me every Sunday. It's been I will begin traveling here soon. It's just one thing after another. It just kind of keeps me at home. So so thank you. Appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the contributions, and I guess we'll see you next week.